Oh, wait, all right.
We're on.
All right, let's go.
So, Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith here with Meteorologist Nicholas Herboso, and we're tracking a heat wave. And we saw this heat ridge coming in. Even last week, it was showing up in the models.
Yeah, and this is it now.
Yeah.
This is the water vapor imagery, and I have the upper level winds put on this, and you can see the spin. The ridge is kind of sitting over the Arklatex right now. Hence, we have some thunderstorms that are over South Louisiana,
right,
and they're moving south. We've been lucky today, though.
A lot of dry air, and we've seen it all week. I mean, you know, we were looking at this ridge, and we knew it was going to be hot, and the temperatures, I mean, yesterday we were at 97 in Mobile, 99 in Pensacola, and we saw that ridge coming, and so that's verified, but what's been good for us is that we've had some drier air and lower dew points.
Yeah, and we kind of had that early on in the forecast, even going back to last weekend. We were kind of dealing with, okay, the humidity's not terrible, so our heat index values aren't, you know, 110 right now. However, later on, we are expecting some more heat to build because
moisture's coming in.
Yeah,
Let me
we're
get
going to
this
keep the
going and you can talk.
So we're going to keep the temperatures going pretty much at the same spot. So 95, 96, 97. But we're going to bump up the humidity a little bit. We bump up our rain chances, and then, well, that's kind of what's going to happen where we're going to deal with all this. So here's a look at today's highs, and yeah. Pretty hot out there.
They look toasty, but it's dry just about everywhere. You know, in Pensacola, the dew points are in the low 60s. We've had a high of 99 degrees so far today, and that's usually terrible. Looking at the current temperature right now, we've got right now running at 96 degrees in Mobile as far as our daytime high. And what I'm going to do is I'd like to I may have lost my access, yeah, maybe. Let me see if I can.
Come on, weather computer, you can do it.
Let me see if I can reconnect, and we'll do that while we talk. How about that?
Yeah. So.
All right, Nicholas is going to talk for a little bit while I fix this.
Yeah, he's got to do some stuff. So yeah, no, we're sitting. Our temperatures are sitting up there in the middle 90s right now. But it's those dew points, and we've been watching this. In fact, meteorologist Jennifer Lambers, who was here this morning and all through midday, was watching those dew points creep down throughout the day. And that was kind of the most interesting thing to see, because when I'm getting outside, and when I got outside today, I was like, oh, it's not bad outside. I mean, it was hot, but it was not terrible at all. So good thing for us that the humidity is staying lower. Therefore, we're not dealing with a high heat index. But in the National Weather Service discussions, they've been talking about it. That the heat is going, or the humidity is going to go up, and they might have to start issuing a little bit more in the way of heat advisories. So 96 right now in Mobile.
And 96, but not so bad. Let's look at the heat index values right now, and this is what we're seeing. So actually, we have a heat advisory in effect this afternoon, but we're only at 98 with the current heat index. And I know that's a little insulting to people, because if you go outside and you're in the sun, you're feeling how hot it is out there, and you feel that sun bearing down on you, and your skin feels hot, and your car's hot, and the surface of the road is hot. But the humidity is actually lower, so it doesn't feel like it's going to feel as we get into Thursday and Friday as this moisture starts to come back.
Yeah. And we've been watching, right before we were kind of putting the forecast together, I was looking at some of the forecast models, specifically looking at dew points, the thing that we talk about all the time, like how does it feel outside? And the model's showing, with a little bit more southerly flow at the surface, those dew points creeping up just a little bit more. And that's what's going to get us away from 98, 95 to the 110 mark. Look, dew points, that's 64 degrees in Mobile for our dew point. That's good.
So there's like a bubble, which is basically our forecast area. Pensacola 63, Mobile 64, Evergreen 65. We've got this pocket of dry air that's right over us, and you can see the moisture. New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Slidell has a dew point of 80 and a temperature in the middle 90s and a current heat index close to 110. So the bad stuff is right next to us. And taking a look at the humidity right now relative to the temperature.
Wow.
Yeah, this is unusual. This is the one time of day when you can actually see just how dry it is. You know, when you get the daytime highs, that's normally when we see the driest air of the afternoon, when the temperature's at the highest and the dew points at the lowest, and those lower dew points are mixing down. The drier air that's here, the dark stuff in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere is starting to appear.
There's just a small little patch right here where we're not dealing with as much moisture But it's not a lot, though. There's still moisture overall kind of spilling over the ridge. So your ridge is right here. This is the big old red H thing that we talk about all the time that we've been showing, the big colorful maps.
The heat dome.
Yeah, the heat dome. That's that orange thing. It's just this is a different representation of it. Moisture is kind of spilling over the thing now. We do have a trough in the eastern United States. The pattern going really long range, which does change a little bit, where we deal with a little bit more troughing coming into our area, and what that does for us is that's going to help us boost our rain chances. There's that water vapor imagery.
Yeah,
and as you can see, that's
the
where the level high
I may have it a little more over the Mississippi Delta than where it actually is. It's more right into what Nicholas was saying, the Arklatex, which is right where Arkansas and Texas and Louisiana come together here. And so we are looking at that ridge that's going to back off, and I actually have an upper level pattern map that I made here. And you see how as we get into the weekend, we're still under the influence of the ridge. The color contours are still red here, but then into next week, we begin to see more of a trough pattern. You see how we get into the orange? That means our heat won't be as bad. That ridge is kicking back into Texas and New Mexico.
And that's also going to help kind of boost our rain chances just a little bit. I think this weekend and next week looks just a little bit more unsettled. Instead of being pretty much no chance for rain like we've had the past few days, where storms just haven't had the chance to form because they're under the sinking air of the high pressure aloft. Now, when you get rid of that high pressure, you allow storms to form. We'll have more sea breeze thunderstorms, a little bit more moisture available in the air, so we could have some heavy downpours once again.
That
typical summertime stuff.
Yeah, that upper trough pattern is classic for more of a northwesterly flow aloft and showers and thunderstorms, and it's all going to happen next week. And our daytime highs could even get into the low 90s by the middle of the week next week. At least
but
we
that
can
heat
hope for
index
that.
is still going to be up there, though.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, even, and I've got the numbers on that. Here's the heat index for tomorrow afternoon, so I'll pop that up. We're expecting that in the short term, the heat index is actually going to rise. And you see Mobile at 105, but Lucedale at 109, and there will be some pockets even in Mobile County up around 109, 110, and this is going to ramp up even more as we get into Friday. And I've got the forecast heat index numbers here, and you can see how the numbers are climbing. Looks like Friday may be the peak of it for us from a heat index perspective, and then even into the weekend and next week, it's no cup of tea, because we're going to see the potential of our temperatures getting up, combining with the humidity levels and the dew points around 107 as we work our way into Sunday and Monday. So we're definitely looking at very high heat index values coming up for the next couple of days. We've got a heat advisory in effect for today over the far western fringes of the area. Tomorrow, probably area-wide. May see some excessive heat warnings on Friday.
Yeah, and that's kind of in the discussion by the National Weather Service when we increase this moisture and the fact that we're keeping temperatures up in that middle to upper 90 range. We keep those temperatures there. You bump up that humidity, yeah, you're going to get up to the criteria. I think the criteria is 113 now for excessive heat warning here.
Maybe it's come down a little. It's pretty high criteria, pretty high threshold. I mean, it's hotter here than a lot of places in the country. We got more humidity than anything. One thing Nicholas was talking about is the lack of rain, and that bubble of dry air that's sitting over the area is keeping the rain at bay. And you see the thunderstorms over towards Baton Rouge and New Orleans and down over towards Laplace and areas on the west side of New Orleans. But our area is pretty much bone dry this afternoon. And what are we going to see with rainfall going forward in time? Well, we still have some drier air, some residual drier air. It's going to creep in at the surface. Like this morning, there should be some showers and thunderstorms over the Gulf tomorrow morning. Those will fizzle out. And then we will get a few hit-and-miss showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Now, that was the HRRR Futurecast. It's been spot on all week.
Yes, and I think it's been doing really well all this summer in terms of just, it's been handling the coverage really well, and it's a great way for us to look at what kind of coverage overall is on that map, and then we can kind of go with rain chances and stuff. That's why tomorrow it's like only a 20 to 30% chance of rain. However, some of us could get some heavy downpours, so it's just kind of, if you're one of the lucky ones that ends up seeing the downpour.
And that's been a matter of debate. Or we're going to go 30% for tomorrow or 20%. I think we're leaning 20 based on that Futurecast run, but we're going to have your forecast. Nicholas is going to be covering the weather at 4 p.m. I'll be in at 5 p.m. 9 p.m. Tonight. So we are going to be watching out for this for you. Tropics are quiet, which is always something we have to talk about in
all
August.
Those big 80%, 70% that you saw was that this weekend?
Right.
With those high development chances, they just didn't happen. It didn't get where it needed to actually form. So still, the next name on the list is Emily.
Okay.
But we are still coming up to, the busier part of the hurricane season, and the water temperatures are still warm. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens.
Water temperatures are sky high, but upper level winds not particularly favorable at the moment. And when we get into the middle of August, it's like flipping a switch, and you can go from seeing nothing out there, and then the next week you've got them all lined up, 3 or 4 storms. So we'll be looking for that potential as we get into the middle of the month of August. Thanks for joining us here on all our platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and all our streaming platforms here on the Fox 10 Gulf Stream. And we'll be joining you on Fox 10 News Live at 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. this evening.